and all of a sudden you're like, well, tell me more about it. So I think it's kind of to use the word viral, but, it's pretty nice to go ahead and, I think it's a win-win, and I think in all of our business models, and I'm in that business model where I'm in the real estate brokerage, the firm that's the top 3 least trusted industries, I think it's politicians, stockbrokers, and then real estate. There's a Harris poll, I'm not sure if I'm quoting it right, but the least trusted industries. And you know what, I really, and I've been a born again believer since 1980, but only until last year did I become an ambassador for the kingdom. And that was a big change, because I started being taught, the Great Commission is going to all the world and teaching them. And so I actually, with Miles Monroe's teachings and Lance Wallnau's and wherever I can soak up we're being taught now the business ministry of where people are going to be ministered to is where they work, where they live, and where they play. And they don't want to be beaten over the head with the Bible. We know that doesn't work. So we pray all around the world as business people, well, how can we help, And so to tell a short story of how I came to work, I worked for Keller Williams as a broker. I was independent for 24 years. I got my real estate license when I was 19 years old. And I really didn't I loved the people, but I really didn't like the people, of the real estate industry. I didn't like my ethnos. I didn't like my nation and so I was fortunate enough, because of the prosperity that was able to, and the hard work, to get some pretty big awards for the Austin area in 05 and 06. Top 5 in the entire city. I was ranked by the Austin Business Journal. So I'm walking into the Renaissance Hotel to go collect my little trophy, and I'm walking up there, and I'm just going, I can't stand these things, go to these, I'm independent, I'm a lone sheep out there, I don't need to have, and God spoke to me, and he says, you love on these people. And so I walked into and I was like visibly shaken. I walked in there, and I looked around at the real estate community, and I was like going, I'm supposed to love on these people. I'm not supposed to put them down and tell, and the typical type of realtor that, my dad used to call them blue suede shoes salesman, and stuff like that. So it taught me a lesson. It was, if I'm being blessed, is that I need to love on my own real estate ethnos. And so I went to work. I woke up one morning, God downloaded me a sign, Keller Williams with my name on it. And I'm like, are you sure, God? That's my competition. Why would I'm independent, got my own brokerage. Why would I go to work for Keller Williams? I was just obedient, I think, and I just went down to that Keller Williams office, the closest one I could find, which was in Lake Travis area, highly affluent area. And I walked in and I said, and she goes, I know who you are. And the market center leader says, yeah, you're one of the top in the city. Why are you here? My first reaction was the secondary response, which was, because of market branding, I need your, this name. And I say, because God told me to. And she kind of like, well, we're believers. Not all of us, but, we're believers. I'm like, really? Wow, there's some believers out here in the real estate industry. And she said, what are you doing tomorrow? And I said, well, I'm heading out to Rick Joyner's church. I'm going to go to Morningstar and, learn about Kingdom Business Conference. I think it was a year and a half ago. And she said, well, before you go, can you come down to what we call mega camp for Keller Williams? I went down, and it's 5,000 real estate agents gathered at this big convention center, and John Maxwell was speaking. So I'm thinking, all right, you can bring John Maxwell into a business conference like this. Really, I get it. Now I see what happened. But the mood was, it was 07, middle of 07, or right when the market turned. And these agents that were used to making $3 million gross commission income a year were now complaining that they're only making $1 million gross commission income. But anyways, the mood in this big giant auditorium was depressed. It was just oppressed, cloudy. Nobody was selling anything. The party days were over. And God says, this is why you're here. And I said, oh, okay. So it was like, all right, so I get to minister to their needs, because I was still doing really well, because I'm a hard worker, and there's opportunity when things are going not so well with the rest of the industry. So I was able to say, oh, I see now why you have me here. I'm supposed to minister and love on these people and teach them. And the thing about it that God was showing me is that it's very difficult to evangelize when the market is overheated and everybody's winning and you could just pick up the phone and make a sale. They don't need to be evangelized. But when they're depressed and they're oppressed and they can't make their bills and they need some guidance and they need some help and they need that, edification, exhortation, and comfort, that's the time during the tough times when we can evangelize to our brethren in the real estate field. So after 24 years, 25 years, I finally became an ambassador. You know why it took me so long? Is because I wasn't taught, and that was part of the thing. I thought church and state and church were separate, so to speak. Business and church. We go to church, then we go to work. And I didn't realize that the business of real estate is, all of our businesses, wherever we're at. When the Great Commission, when it says go into all the nations, the word there is ethnos, which means your ethnicity. So if you're a doctor or you're a lawyer or you're an engineer or you're a cab driver, your ethnicity is your business that you do. So we spend 8 or 9 hours at our businesses, but now through, thank God from Lance Wallnau and these kind of, we're able to spread the kingdom where it's most effective. Not necessarily, the church is great. We know the church is there, the 4 walls of the church, but now we're actually seeing that the business people are saying, oh, we're kings and we're priests. So kings have dominion and they have power and control, and priests can hear from God. But we get the benefit of being both kingly priests. And are we acting as kingly priests? And God knows, I'm still learning. But it's a great learning process because I was not all that excited about going. I tried to bring my goal setting and time management teaching into the church. And God said, no, you bring your goal setting and time management teaching out into the business realm and slip in. Where did this information come from? This is new stuff. We haven't quite heard it taught this way. And that gives me a chance to evangelize. It's all in the Bible. So there's been still many times when people go, why'd you go to work for Keller Williams? And I give the secondary answer. I want to be branded. And God just taps me on the shoulder and says, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me. It was because God told you to. I told you. Daddy told you to go to work there. So anyways, that's my story about going into the marketplace. And it's really, at this point in time, this is, if you remember the Joseph strategy, what happened there was, remember, 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of drought and famine. And what did Joseph do? Because he had the Pharaoh's signet ring, is he built up his assets and storehouses during the prosperity and had plenty left over to buy up all the discounted assets during the times of drought. And us as kingdom citizens and knowing the Bible, we really should be the ones that are taking dominion over the discounted property. I'm sure Bill's probably buying up a lot that he couldn't buy before at the same prices because there was so much easy, greasy money out there, that he's able to buy these assets and then spread the gospel. I think it's a win-win situation.